So welcome back to another episode, and if you want to just get in a vehicle and just get anywhere in the world, then you want to be right here, because today I'm taking you on a journey from my airline drama experience to traveling with a toddler as a solo parent, and what it's like traveling all the way to this beautiful island of Tobago. Then you want to stay tuned.
JP, woo, better wake up.
Welcome back to this episode of Life in Tobago, and I'm going to walk you through exactly what it takes to get to Trinidad and Tobago, specifically the island of Tobago. So that's where we're living. So whether you're planning to move here, visit here, or just curious about this one, if you don't know, Trinidad and Tobago is a part of the Southern Caribbean islands, and in fact Venezuela is closer to Trinidad than its twin island Tobago is to Trinidad. So I've been living here for a while. I'm a Jamaican, I'm married to a Trinidadian, and we lived here during COVID, and we are back. And we are just going to give you a little of behind the scenes experience of what is life like here in Trinidad and Tobago, and possibly you can make this journey for yourself too. So stay tuned. First, you got to check your citizenship to see what's required for you to get into this country. This is not any nilly-dally country that you can just come into. They're very serious, right? And so I'm a CARICOM national. That is the group of Caribbean islands, for those who don't know. And so we have free entry, visa-free entry into our fellow CARICOM nations, right? However, you need a return ticket to your homeland. So I have a Jamaican passport, my children have a Trinidadian passport, Trinidadian passport, so they don't need a return ticket. So for me, I had to ensure that I had my return ticket whenever I'm coming here, even though I am married to a Trinidadian. That's a whole other story about getting permanent residency or citizenship here. It's not that easy. It is not that easy, and you must be living in this country in order to get that. For Jamaicans, you have about 6 months stay. Yeah, you have 6 months stay that you can come with a visa-free entry. And as I said, you have to have a return ticket even if you're married, or even if you have a CSME certificate from Jamaica. So the CSME is a Caribbean single market economy that you can use as a certificate to show that you have some skills that can contribute to the economy of there. So whether for work as an artist or because you have a degree, etc., specialized skills that will contribute, then you can get that from your country, like your Ministry of Labor or so forth. So in Jamaica you get it through Ministry of Labor, and once you get that, then you are able to come to live and work in any of the Caribbean nations. So that's what we're told from Jamaica. So my experience is totally different. Again, this is just my personal experience. So for me, I got my CSME in 2018 or 2017, long before I met my husband. And I'll show a little photo here. I always wanted to be a Trini. I had met a guy from Jamaica who lived here, and I just loved the accent. I was into carnival, and so I always wanted to be a part of that Trini culture. And so before I met my husband, I was like, I'm coming to Trini Carnival, or I was thinking about getting here, and so I had gotten my CSME certificate. Right? And when we got married, or on my way to getting married, so let me get another backstory. I came here, the first time I came to Trinidad was in January 2019 on a layover, on a stopover, change of flight to get to Grenada, right? That was my first, me and my sister getting into Trinidad. It was beautiful. We're so excited, like, oh my god, we made it to Trinidad. I'm very excited to be here, and we went to Grenada. Then on coming back, because you have to land again in Trinidad and then get a flight to go to Jamaica, that's when I had a layover. And for those who don't know the story, I'll put the thumbnail here. Here's the link. Go and watch how I met my husband, right? And I met him at that time, right? So that was my second time on the land in Trinidad and Tobago. Met my husband. Less than 21 days, I was back in Trinidad, and this immigration encounter was one that showed me we have to be very careful when we travel. So for those who don't know, human trafficking is real, and people will scam you and do all sorts of stuff and fool you so that they can traffic you and sell your organs and all of this stuff. It's very real. So when I arrived here on the second time, well, my third time now in the country, and the immigration officer said, hey, why are you here? I had to explain to them that I'm here to meet my fiance. Was it that time? I don't think it was February. I think it was a July experience, so it wasn't February 1. However, I came here in February 2019, saw his family, etc. That's told another time. So that was like my third time here in Trinidad. No, I was actually in Tobago. This time seeing the beautiful island of Tobago, very beautiful country, very natural, and so it was just a wonderful experience to be here. Okay, and then we got married. We traveled here again in July as a layover to get to Grenada, because that's where we got married. And that was the time when the immigration officer kind of interrogated me to say, hey, who are you going to? Why are you going to them? Why are you coming to our country so quick, so often? How can you afford this? I had to show them text messages between Jamaica and I, and she said, I am sending you on your own accordance because this may not be safe. You don't know this gentleman, and you're saying he's your fiance and you're gonna get married and you just met him. She read some of the messages, she saw that we're talking, but at the same time she was very concerned. She took his parents' details, she took my details, she took the hotel details, everything. She said, if you don't come back out of our country, we're coming to look for you. Alright, so that was in July 2019 when we went to Grenada. So that was another experience I've had. All my time between then and July traveling to Trinidad and Tobago, I've always used Caribbean Airlines, and I've always had a wonderful experience. I'm a proud what's the word? Patriotic? I'm patriotic? I don't know. I'm proud of our people and the things that we do and the things that we own, and so I like to support our own. And Caribbean Airlines is owned by a Trinidadian company. You know, it was bought from Air Jamaica, I believe. I think, long story short, I'm all for it. Always traveled with them. Yes, more expensive, but always traveled with them. Then March of 2020, I had to go back to Jamaica again. Remember, only 6 months time I had to go back to Jamaica. COVID came a week later. I was back in Trinidad, right? And COVID, and then we lived here. That's when I started my residency experience here in Trinidad and Tobago, to become a permanent resident, right? So I kind of been going around and traveling through the ports, Port of Spain, to Kingston, Jamaica. There's no flight to Montego Bay, and I'm from Montego Bay, so I have to go Kingston, then take a bus back home or drive home, whatever it is. I have to do another commute to get home. And then I came here. No, so I'm going to tell you about the experience. No, because this one I'm going to go hold on for this ride. Remember I said I've always had wonderful experiences with Caribbean Airlines. So my first time coming, when I was coming from my wedding now in December 2019, I was thinking that I could just come on a one-way ticket. I have my CSME certificate and I can just go. Got to the airport to check in, drop on my bags, and they're like, hey, hold up, wait a minute, you need to buy a ticket to come back. I said, no, but I have a CSME, I'm moving there, you know, I'm getting married, I have all of these things arranged. And they said, no, I have to get a return ticket. And I'm like, so what's the purpose of the CSME? It says you can move to the CARICOM nation, live and work there. So why would I need to have a return? I'm not returning, you know? And they said, no, you need it. I would have to get the CSME from Trinidad. I said, why would I get a CSME from Trinidad? I'm not from Trinidad. What do they know about me to give me this certificate? Long story short, I had to buy a ticket right there in the airport, or else I would have had to miss my flights. So that was a problem. And in March, when I had traveled back, I had gone through the States. I didn't go with Caribbean Airlines. I went on, I think it was JetBlue or American Airlines, some other American airline company, and I went through the States and came back. You know why I did that? Guys, you will not believe that it is cheaper to travel from Jamaica, transit through the United States to get here, than it is to travel from Jamaica straight to Trinidad and Tobago. Tell me why. Tell me why. So when I found that out, I was on the roll. Now I am using that portal because I gotta save the box. So that's what happened, right? So I have been down this relocation and traveling road, and I can help you guys if you really want to get here. I face the hassle so that I can make it easier for you guys. So right now I'm going to tell you guys, you can click the link in the description to book a free 15-minute consultation to discuss how we can help you with your relocation between Jamaica or any other country getting here in Trinidad and Tobago. So just remember to click that link in the bio. We're just offering this for this week as a 15 minutes free consultation. Outside of this week, then you're gonna have to pay for that consultation, and it will be more time. It's 30 minutes or an hour, and you pay accordingly. So just utilize it. We have time now. We want to help you guys. If you're thinking about traveling, you're thinking about relocating, then we can offer you that assistance, especially if you're coming to the Caribbean, UK, or you want to migrate to Canada. So you think by now it would be easier for me when I'm traveling. So this trip in 2025, I had to do it alone. So most times when I've traveled before, so in total I've traveled here 7 times. Most times, except the time when the entire family migrated back to Jamaica, I've always traveled alone, but I've never traveled with a baby by myself. So this was my first time within the Caribbean traveling with my baby. So this is the last one, the baby boy, and we're coming from Jamaica here this year. Boy, when I tell you, it was a piece of drama. I'm gonna hold up a little bit and let you see this. Very excited. Went to the river in the morning in Portland. Beautiful time with my friend.
Listen, this child has a flight in less than you use all of the time now, about 30 minutes left.
Dropped off the rental car and made our way to the airport. Coming with a baby, migrating, having all of our stuff in a suitcase to get on a plane. Don't talk to me unless you have packed up your house and moved and could take your things on a plane. Don't tell me why I'm overweight, because you have never migrated to another country with all your belongings. So here I was, a little overweight, having to consolidate some of my bags and so forth, and having this baby to get on this flight with. And checking in, it is Valentine's Day, the love day, all decked out Caribbean Airlines station, looking beautiful. The only one decorated in the airport, well uniform, crisp, beautiful smiles, everyone having makeup on, looking all cute. And then radam, the worst horrific customer experience of my life. When I stood there looking at this customer service agent saying, "Mama, I am barely a pound over." Airlines, I said, "This is my work because I'm Mom, is it possible that I could just, Miss, can I open my suitcase here to remove my Bible and put it in my backpack that is already overpacked?" What response was I met with? No. I moved from that counter back to the open space in that airport about 5 to 7 times, repacking, unpacking, off-packing, stressed out, and I'm doing this with a baby. And to make matters worse, I was being told that I can't open my suitcase at the counter just to reshuffle some stuff, just to take out. What sent me over the edge was this last time where I said, okay, it is 2 pounds over, let me just take my Bible out of the suitcase. And she said no, I have to go back to the area I was and open it. And I said, are you serious? I can't? And I looked to my right, and there was a Caucasian group of people, a couple, and they were right there opening their suitcase, taking out their stuff. I was tired, frustrated, and I lost it. I lost it in tears. I couldn't take it anymore. I just cried. And in crying, she said, do you want to speak to the supervisor? And I said, yes. And she said, you would have to come to me to the supervisor. So I still had to move. Nobody came to me. And again, I'm doing this with a baby. And the supervisor is like, the bag's okay, you can go with it, you don't have to take out anything else. And I was just like, it's not even about the overweight. At this point, I'll pay for anything. It's not that. It's just common courtesy and decency. And don't tell me, oh, it's policy, because somebody wrote that policy. And what goes for me doesn't go for somebody else that doesn't have my skin type. And you look just like me. But they get the grace and favor because of what? I don't know. And so I was hurt, I was ashamed, I was humiliated, I was tired. And I had already traveled with my son from London to Scotland, from Scotland to Calgary, from Calgary to Toronto, from Toronto to Jamaica, and I never experienced any of this. And mind you, I'm carrying even less in my suitcase at this time. So I was exhausted and I just cried. Anyways, so in the end, they apologized, but I'm gonna be honest, the impact of that still lingers, and I do have a return ticket with them to go back to Jamaica, and I'm going back with my son, and I'm not hopeful. I'm not hopeful. So if this makes it to Caribbean Airlines and you hear this, please help your sister out. I love you guys, but that experience left a very horrific taste in my memory. No, wonderful flight, well fed, taken care of, made it safe and sound to Trinidad. I'm not yet on the beautiful twin island of Tobago. So when you get to Trinidad, this is part of Spain, you are gonna be greeted, you have to go through immigration, etc. Because I was traveling with a baby, I had so many baggages. Trust me, I was overloaded. I couldn't carry them alone. someone offered to help me, and I was immensely grateful. But when you get to Trinidad, depending if you're gonna transit, because as I told you guys, it's like a hub to get to other parts. Either you go to Tobago or you go to Grenada, Barbados, or so forth. So I'm going to Tobago. You have to have another ticket that you would have purchased if you want in advance to get to Tobago. Now Tobago flights are not. They have the number of flights between Trinidad and Tobago, but still I don't think it's enough for the route because of the movement of people, but locals and then foreigners. So depending on the hour that you get into Trinidad, you have to consider a stay over. So Airbnb, a friend, so forth. You have to make that, and we have recommendations as well that we can offer to you. When you book our services, we have persons in Trinidad that you can stay with, etc. So you can get to the island, as I mentioned before, via boat or plane. Now, because of my travel experience and what was happening with the baby, we had opted to just go by plane. I spent a night over, and then I had a ticket because it was a very busy weekend. So there wasn't any flights available for Saturday, and I had to book a ticket for Sunday. Now this is the advantage. You can go to the airport and say, hey, I want to get on a flight, pay a difference of $50 TT, and then wait on standby. When your name go up on a board, you have to sit and wait. And there I was with a baby, getting to the airport probably like 11 a.m. I think, or 12, something around the sorts, and waiting until the egg. I was alive. Yo, I tell you, no, my life would not be my life if it never requires some unnecessary waiting. I tell you, my life is one that should be written in the books, because I'm out here literally. So you can see it? Literally out here walking by feet. So I'm on standby. I'm fourth in line on the standby. I'm coming from 23. I'm now at number 4, as Maria said. Yeah, moving. I was waiting. We have been here waiting for an hour and a half, because who goes to the airport with their child and sits and waits to get on standby? That is not guaranteed. Pay your money and sit there all day waiting. And I tell you, I was just about to lose it. And we're still waiting, like my belly jumping now, because I'm ready to go home. I'm tired. I'm going to cry. You don't want me to cry in public. You're embarrassing me. And remember, these bags that I have had, these suitcases, these luggages with all my belongings, everything packed up in one, were already overweight. So here I am thinking I'm going to have to pay again for overweight baggage. But God knows how much I can bear it. Oh, I can't. I'm tired, bro. And his favor goes before me. And so while we sat there waiting, we decreed that favor. And we did receive favor, because I was the last person admitted on that flight.
No, you guys don't know that. And this is the last flight, so there we go.
And while going through security with a baby being checked, my suitcase is being like, I'm hearing my name over the intercom. This is the last flight going to Tobago.
This is tonight.
Alright. We made it. We made it.
Hey, go check your box.
We made it. Like they call in. Last call for Olivia Charlotte. Oh my days. Oh, it's exhausting. I'm telling this story and I'm reliving it and I'm exhausted. I don't know why God made me have to go through this. Perhaps it's to help you guys. Perhaps it's to help you guys, so you don't have to face these challenges. Because if I had known, I should have booked my Tobago tickets in advance. But the challenge is, as expected, and probably Caribbean Airlines will have to figure this out, is that their flights are almost always delayed between the region, because the flight that comes is the flight that goes back, because Trinidad is their home, and so their flights are almost always delayed. And so our flight was delayed. So even if I had purchased a ticket before for that particular day, who said I would have made it in time? So I never did. So that's a little bit of the experience. We took the flight and we came over. I got assistance again to get my bags and all of these heavy stuff. And yeah, we made it safely a day or two later here in Tobago. So now we're actually living in Tobago. So I want to give you guys what's the cost, how much did this run us. As I told you before, that flights from Jamaica to the US to come to Trinidad are way cheaper than if you're doing a straight flight from Jamaica to Trinidad. So this is an estimate based on the cost, including the flight with my child. So once your children are under the age of 2 years, you pay taxes on their, because they're in lap, right? So you don't pay a full price for them. But over 2, you pay full price. So Sion, my older child, yeah, we always have to pay for him adult seat. So my flight from Jamaica to Trinidad was about $380 US. From Trinidad to Tobago was about $25 US for me and the baby, and that included the changes. And then my return ticket from Trinidad to Jamaica, not Tobago, you know, Trinidad to Jamaica, is about $450 US. Obviously, we have to now work out the cost that would come into play for the flight from Tobago to Trinidad. So it's very affordable to go between the islands. It's just now the cost for the international or regional flights that would be a bit more costly. So that's a bit rundown as to the experience I've had coming back here to Tobago. And it was a roller coaster one that sometimes I have to say, God, do you want me in this place again? If this makes it to Caribbean Airlines, I'm just saying, we are the Faith family. We use faith as our passport for purpose, helping others, individuals and families to relocate and travel and experience the wonders of this beautiful world. And we love our Caribbean businesses and we love to support them. We love our people. We love to support them. So unfortunately, out of the 7 experiences I've had with Caribbean Airlines, this one was by far my worst experience that has shattered my confidence in them. Because I looked at it and I said, this airline was well put together for this particular day. No other airline in the airport looked like them. They looked well branded, they looked posh, they looked good, red carpet, chocolate, all of these things. But the customer service experience was horrible. It was just like, get away with all of this fanfare and just treat people good. I'm just saying, treat people good, have some decency in how you deliver your customer service to people, and have some consideration for mothers or parents traveling with children. It's extremely tiring and difficult to travel with children alone, and so we would expect some sense of care from the airline that we choose to travel with. So that's just my 2 cents. We will have more content coming out that gives you details on what is life like here in Tobago.
Wake up.